right, buddy. All right, good morning, everybody. And thank you for coming to morning class. My name is Julia. And, oh, wait, hey, let me check your ball. Oh, you're fine. Welcome to morning class. Today, I got a few requests to do some more core workout for this morning. So I will go ahead and continue on with some of that goodness. So today we're just going to be working on our front core, back core, and more into our lower core with some hip work today, and bringing in a little bit of some shoulder mobility into the mix as well. So if you can have your standard 2 blocks or strap in your blanket, and go ahead and get that set up so that we can start going with our fun today. More than welcome to play your own music at this time. To this nice 40-minute flow that we're going to be experiencing this morning. You can go ahead and sit in an upright position if you would like. I'm going to place a block underneath my sitting area just to help encourage my posture to be straight. So taking a deep inhale, bringing your shoulders all the way up to your ears. And then exhale, rotating them down. And have your hands nice and soft onto your thighs or your knees here. Deep inhale through the nose, lift up through the chest, exhale through the mouth. And as we sit here in our guided seating position, we can take the right hand onto the stomach and the left hand onto the spine, so that as we breathe here, we can bring a little bit of that Ujjayi breath that we've worked with in several of our videos where we inhale through the nose. Find that core engagement and exhale through the throat. That way we are able to work with our diaphragm more to breathe, and that we are able to keep ourselves stable and active throughout our core. Keeping the spine straight, chest towards the ceiling, navel lifts up 2 inches, nice and tall. Taking a deep inhale in through the nose, palms face to the sides, rise into our sun breath. And then exhale, release. Hands by the hips. Continue with the sun breaths. Inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release, hands to the ground. Good. 2 more times. Good. And as we rise, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling, we can keep the left leg down, lower the right arm. Inhale, side bend, over towards the right side of the room. Arms alongside the bicep here, keeping our spine nice and long as we bend. Inhale, rise, both arms towards the ceiling, lower the left this time. Long side body to the left side of the room. Slowly inhale, rise, arms towards the ceiling, and then exhale, release. Good. Arms back up, inhale, rise. Let's go ahead and do a twist here. So lift up through the chest and twist our body over to the right side, placing our left thigh onto right hand, left hand onto the right thigh, right hand behind. Keep lifting it through the chest as we twist. Possibly taking the eye gaze over the left shoulder here. If you wanted to get more into the back shoulder, you can take that hand and wrap it behind your spine as if you're trying to grab onto the left thigh. Getting good shoulder mobility here. Opening up through the chest. And then we can slowly release. Twist to the opposite side. Arms up. Twist to the left. Right hand this time on the left thigh. I promise. And the left hand behind spine. You're more than welcome to take the left hand and grab onto the opposing thigh here for a deep twist. And eye gaze over the opposite shoulder. And then we can slowly release here. Go ahead. We're going to inhale, take the arms out to the sides here. And as our arms are out to the sides, we want the fingers to be together, nice and engaged. Rotate the shoulders back to the socket. And then we want to bring the core in. Lift it through the navel. And we're nice and strong to the back core, front core. And go ahead and create some arm circulations here. We want to make sure that we are nice and actively moving through the chest as well. So we want the movement to be present first to start into the chest, to the upper arm, so that it is nice and stable. And then working out through the forearms. So we feel this energy throughout the whole entire arm and not just the energy coming out of the socket. Doing nice few swims, nice and small here. If you wanted to go a little bigger, a little slower, nice and concentrated, you can do the same as well. Making sure that you keep the torso in place so that you're not rocking back and forth. We're staying nice and strong and still here. And why don't we go on the opposite side? So reverse the rotation. You start with little circles. If you wanted to, you can graduate to bigger circles, nice and slow. Just a Ujjayi breath here. Good. Sun breath, rise. Good. Kali Mudra, lift it through the chest, side bend again. A little more active here to the right side. Biceps are alongside the ears. Rooting through the knees. Inhale, arms up towards the ceiling, and then exhale to the opposite side. And you might feel this more into your obliques, so right into the deep inside of our sides here. Allow yourself to breathe through that stretch. Bring the arms back up, rise, exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Good. Arms are forward, tailbone towards the back of the room. One more breath here. You can slowly inhale. Come back into a seated position. And if you had your block, you can remove it at this time. And we can go ahead and find ourselves onto our mat here. onto the mat. Just go ahead and do a few cat-cows here, making sure that we're creating enough space in our tabletop where the hands are still underneath the shoulders here, knees underneath the hips. Inhale, bring the tailbone up. Good, chest forward. Exhale, rotate through the shoulders. Bring it towards the ceiling, chin the chest. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more. Good. And then go ahead and come into a plank position. Get right up on your toes, engaging the core. Wrists are underneath the shoulders here, and bring your chest in between the shoulder blades so that we're not dipping down into the shoulders. We're keeping ourselves nice and balanced here. Core bring to the spine. Good. And inhale, hike the hips up, downward facing dog. Root through the heels. Good. Lift up through the kneecaps, engage the thigh, tailbones towards the ceiling. Chest in between the shoulder blades here. Round through the shoulders. Come into plank. Bring the tailbone up, chest down. Forward facing dog. Round through the shoulders. Come into plank. Dip the tailbone up, chest down. Forward facing dog. Good. Then go ahead and move through these spinal waves here. Snap, crackle, pop, opening up through the spine. Good, and then on the next one, inhale, shift forward. Chaturanga, flip the feet. Upward facing dog. Shoulders back, chest forward. Exhale, hike the hips up. Downward facing dog. Good. Walk to the front of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As we find that halfway lift, I'm going to go ahead and walk the fingertips left side of the room. Good. Exhale, release. Inhale, walk to the opposite side. Good. Exhale, release. Peace fingers. Inhale, halfway lift. And then press the hands either into the ground, or if your hamstrings are especially tight this morning, you can go ahead and grab some blocks here for a little hamstring work. Pressing the hands into the block. Good. Encouraging yourself to go into a deeper hip hinge, lifting up through the kneecaps. Wonderful. Guiding your chest to the ground. And if you feel like your back is severely rounding here, you can create a little more space, bringing your legs a little more towards the back of the room. You can possibly bring a bend. Good. So that we can lift up through the tailbone, softly bending through the knees, having a straighter spine here. Because the goal is to create the hip hinge with as much of a straight or neutral spine as we can, without bending through the back to get into it. We want to learn how to find that control with our spine, bring it down. We have very tight hamstrings that can cause the rounding in our spine, or also just a tight back as well. Good. So why don't we go ahead, come back to the halfway lift. I would grab your blocks. Let's go ahead and set a block in between the knees here. Good. So in between the knees or the thighs, whichever is more comfortable. Get the tailbone towards the back of the room, lengthen through the spine. Space here. And with the opposite block in between your palms, bring your tailbone back, straighten up through your spine. Inhale, rise all the way up into your high mountain. So, can't really see in the camera here, but my block is towards the ceiling. Arms are straight, engaging through the glutes, through the core, biceps alongside the ears here, nice and tall. Good. We're going to come into chair pose, squeezing onto the blocks, bring the tailbone back, bring the arms forward here. Good, lifting up through the block. Good, inhale to the chair.
Exhale, stand back up. Good. Inhale into the chair. Good. Exhale, stand back up, making sure that we're nice and straight. We're not bringing our pelvic forward or too back. Aligned here. Engage the glutes. Nice. And do this 3 more times. And then once you reach your 3rd time, keep the arms lifted and stay in your chair. 5 breaths. Good. Inhale, rise all the way up, possible back bend if you wish. And then come back into the center with your block. Keep the block in between your knees here. Good. And so now to work more with our corner hips, some shoulder mobilities, we're going to go into some chair twist. And as we go into the chair twist, we're going to hike the block to the center into whatever hand that the block is in. We're going to engage in a twist, come back to the center, go on the opposite side. So let me go ahead, prepare for a chair. Inhale, start to come up in our chair. You can bring the block forward. Inhale, open up through the arms. The block's in my right hand. So I'm going to go ahead and twist to the right side. Keeping the hips square. Good. Inhale, block to the center. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, center to the right side. Right hand back to the left hand. Going to the left. Good. 5 more times on your own. Keep your hips square. Keep your arms aligned. And then after you do it your 5 times, walk to the center, and then inhale, rise all the way up, back bend if you wish. And then, Samasthiti. Nicely done. Now we remove the blocks, bring it back to the front of the mat. Good. And rise one more time, back bend if you wish. Exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Take the hands back or down, take the left leg back. Come into spinal twist, right arm towards the ceiling. Good. Release. Right leg back, left leg forward. Inhale, left arm rises into twist. Good. Lower, right foot forward, left hand back, twist. Right hand down, left leg forward, right leg back, rise. Left hand down, left leg back, plank. Good. Let's do some plank walks here. Inhale, right foot behind the right wrist, left wrist behind, right leg back, left leg back. The goal is to keep the torso in place as much as we can and do most of the work into the legs and the lower core here. Good. Nice. 5 more times. You leave it. Bye, babe.
Bye. Love you.
Love you too. Good. Then after the 5, downward facing dog. Good. Go ahead and pedal it out here. Tailbone up towards the ceiling. Good. And then coming onto your knees, down or child's pose. Taking the elbows onto the mat and take the palms above the head for a little child pose. Thin action if you would like this to become a little more engaged here. You can take the elbows onto a set of blocks, open up through the arms a little bit more at any appropriate height that works for you, whether it be on the lowest setting or the highest. Good. And we're gonna rise, bring the blocks to the sides for now. Coming back into your plank position. Good. And then here in our plank, we're going to engage the core. Inhale, bring right knee to right elbow. 3 breaths. Good. Right leg back. Inhale, left knee to left elbow. 3 breaths. Good. Send it back. Inhale, right knee to right elbow. Back. Inhale, left knee to left elbow. Exhale, back. 10 times. That's 2. 3. 4. Keep your torso in place. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Word facing dog. Nice. So bring your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Stretch out through the spine. Right leg rises up, 3-legged dog. 3 breaths here. Bend the knee, bring it forward. Right foot between the hands, drop the left foot. Good. And then rise all the way up into your warrior 2. So as we are here into the warrior 2, nice and strong front leg. I'm going to go to a side bend here. So let's lower the left hand down, right arm rises into reverse warrior. Keep the front knee bent. You want to take that back hand and wrap it all the way around your spine. Go ahead and do so. Inhale, warrior 2. You can take a block if you would like and place it onto the inside of your right foot to come into side angle. And once you find your leg setting here, long spine, pendulum swing the left arm down to the front of the room here. Using at the thumb, opening up the chest more, 1 more breath. Inhale, rise, warrior 2, straighten out the front leg. Good. As we straighten out the front leg, we're gonna reverse triangle here. So keeping the front leg engaged, nice and straight. We're gonna go ahead into our warrior 2 arms and reverse the triangle here. Right arm rises, bringing the left hand down the left leg. Gaze either up at the thumb or down to the back foot. Nice. Come back into your triangle here. And with your triangle, we're going to shift forward, taking the left hip back. Find your block if needed. And you can also take the block behind the right foot as well. Getting that inner thigh stretch for the front right leg. bringing the right chest towards the left side of the room. And if you wanted to extend this even further, you could pendulum swing the right arm down and bring it towards the front of the room here. Good. For an extended triangle, getting more into the lower sides. Good. Left arm up, bend the right foot, place the block about a foot in front of your right foot. Find some buoyancy into your left leg where it feels nice and light. Then start to straighten out through the right leg. Bring the left foot to the front, back of the room, coming into Ardha Chandrasana half moon. And again, there should be more weight into the leg, into the arms. So if you're struggling with the block, that means that we're not applying enough of the force into the bottom leg, into the core to keep us lifted here. Good. A few more breaths. You can lower the back leg, bend the right knee, keep the block. This time, just place it to the, actually, why don't we go ahead, inhale, rise, 5-pointed star, take the block to the left hand. Oh, we'll just go on the opposite side here. So then we're just gonna point the toes to the opposite side. So now the front leg is in front, or the left leg is in front. And let's take the block onto the inside of the left foot here. Good. And reposition your stance, coming into warrior 2 legs here, nice and strong. Open up through the arms, nice and aligned, bend the front knee. Take a couple breaths into your warrior 2 stance. Find that core engagement, nice and buoyant into the hips. And once you're ready, you can flip the left palm up and come up into your reverse warrior. Either eye gaze to the top of the thumb, or you can take it to the back foot, maybe encouraging you to go a little deeper into the side bend. Inhale, rise, engage the core, come forward into your side angle pose here. And if you wanted to with your side angle pose, you can go ahead and pendulum swing the right arm to the front of the room. Good. Eye gaze looking at the thumb. Inhale, rise. Warrior 2 prep. Your warrior 2 prep. Just go ahead, straighten out through the legs, triangle style. And from here, we're going to reverse the triangle. So left arm to the top of the ceiling, right arm behind, or wrapping around your spine here. Nice. Inhale, Trikonasana prep. You can take the block onto the outside of your left foot. Good. And you can shift forward here in your Trikonasana, grabbing onto the block. And take your right hand to the ceiling, and it's your choice here to stay into this Trikonasana pose, bringing the left chest over more towards the right side of the room. You can also pendulum swing the right arm down to the front of the room, making this a side triangle stretch. Good. And then from here, go ahead, inhale, rise, 5-pointed star. I would grab that block, and then you go ahead and take it back to the front of the mat here. Good. And we're just going to go ahead and drop it. Bring both feet to the front, and I would also grab a strap. So working with both the core, the hips, and the hamstrings, I thought today we can just have our peak pose being the Lord of the Dance pose, and there's several different variations that we can get ourselves into, but for this morning flow, I feel like the simplest one sounds the best, wouldn't you agree? So, if you have wall space, I would suggest finding some in case that you would like to uh, go into more depth into your pose. Helps keep some stability. You don't have to if you don't want to. But making sure that there's also a strap on hand just in case we need it. I'm just going to put mine around my neck. So, before we get into King Dancer pose, why don't we come to the top of the mat and bring our feet together, hands to our side, palms are open, nice and relaxed. And taking this moment or two to find our balance center. So as we find some stillness as we stand here, you may start to feel like you are rocking forward, back, possibly side to side. Just feeling all of those little muscles in your feet cooperating with the rest of your body, keeping us in center here. Lifting up your navel 2 inches, nice and tall to the spine. Wonderful. So from here, let's go into tree pose. Transcend all of your energy heavy into your left leg, rooting the pinky, big toe, and the back heel, bending the knee. Good. And from here, we can place the foot onto the side of our shin here. And if it's easier for you to start with your balance, you can keep your foot onto the ground and just rotate the right heel in towards the left shin and start from the floor up. Okay. So either right under your knee or right above the knee. You don't want the foot directly on top of the joint. Come into your tree pose. Good. And this is just the simpler way to get into Lord of the Dance pose, or we can just go ahead after a couple breaths of finding some stillness here. As you start to find your balance, you can rotate that left knee, the right knee forward, and you can grab onto the right foot with your right hand. Bring the heel towards your glute for a little bit of a quad stretch. Good. And then you can start to bring your left arm forward and lift up through the chest and press your right foot into the right hand. So if you have some wall space and you want to practice more with your balance, you can actually take that standing leg and bring it more to the wall here, the hip, so that when you open up, you have room to open up with the back leg. Good. And we want the chest lifted, maybe a little bit of a hip hinge. We just don't want to come all the way forward into the hip hinge. That could put a lot of stress onto the little spine. And if you have difficulties grabbing onto your foot, you can grab a strap, create a nice long stable loop as such. And you can just hook it onto the back foot and then bring the strap up towards the ceiling, maybe even with your elbow up by your ear, because that's like the next step of Lord of the Dance. It's a different variation. Because eventually, if you would like to go to the full pose, we are going to have both of our biceps alongside of our ears, chest is lifted. This is a chest opening, shoulder opening, back bend, quad. This is a full body workout here. And eventually, the goal is to take the hands as close to the foot as you can to grab onto it. But we can start at least from here, or even having this hand behind or supported by your shoulder here to get that quad stretch. It's okay to modify it a little bit. And whenever you feel satisfied from that pose, or if you're toppling over, if you feel like you can't balance, let go of the strap. You're the only one keeping yourself in that pose. So the longer you hold on, the longer you struggle. So keep that in mind next time you're going through something internally. So go ahead, let go of the strap. If you need to, you can wrap it around your neck. Good. Maybe shake it out. You can do some like dead arm swings here. Make your arms dead. Be together. And just kind of shake it out side to side. Arms are kind of slapping you. In the stomach, maybe in the glutes. Just allow yourself to become nice and loose. Not tense from this. And then we can stop being silly and come back to the good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and work with the right side this time. And if you also had difficulties balancing into your tree pose, you can have that balance leg to the wall. So you could start by transcending all that energy into the right leg. Left knee is bent to the side. You start onto the shin here if you like. Good. Keep your spine lifted. Go as high as you would like, just not directly onto the knee. That's your stabilizing joint. If you put pressure on it, it's not going to be great for your knee. You're going to lose your balance. Good. After a few breaths into your tree pose, you bring your left knee forward. Left knee is in a line with your right. Grab onto your left knee. Good. Bring the heel close to your glute for a couple breaths. Quad stretch. And when you're ready, you can press the left foot into the left hand and bring your right arm forward here. A little bit of hip hinging, but really we want to find a lot that's open with the chest curving upward and forward. Good. And the reason why for that is because we do want this to be a back and chest opening as well. So if you put a lot of the effort to the hip, it's going to cause a lot of stress into the whole spine. So if you feel like you would like to use the strap for this one, or if you want to practice going into the deeper asana, you can grab that hollow strap, bring your biceps in alignment to your ear. Good. And then either find your arms as closest as you can to the foot or wherever's comfortable at this time. You can even have one arm up and the other forward, and a little trick with the forward arm, you can also press it into the wall. Whenever you're ready to release, or if you're toppling, just let go of the strap, let it go. Whew. Then go ahead, silly, shake it out again, dead arms, flopping back and forth. Good. Especially with asanas that make us a little tense and very serious, it's fun to let a little joy into the practice. So it is close to the end of class here, so why don't we go ahead and make our way onto our butts here, grab onto the blocks. Good. So why don't we put one block either between our thighs and knees, whatever is more comfortable, and take the block forward. We're gonna go ahead, lift it through the chest, bring the arms forward like you would into a boat pose, because that's where we are about to go. Block is forward, engage the core, and point the toes forward here. Good. You're going to inhale, rise, bring the arms towards the ceiling, straighten up through the legs. And exhale back to the center. Good. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bend. Good. 10 more times. And we want the legs to just hover above the mat here. Don't clench the jaw, soften the face. And once you've done your 10 times, go ahead, hug your knees, take a breath or two. Nice breath, buddy. Yes, sweets, that was a good breath you had. My dog hears me heavy sigh. He gives me his heavy sigh back. Can't tell if it's because he's also relaxed or if he's being sassy. I like to think sassy. And so then we're going to do things a little different here. Block, come to boat pose, but this time, let's come to full boat pose here. Good, and this might be a little easier if we bring the block in between our thighs maybe, with a little bit of support into the knees. Full boat pose here. So as we have our legs straight, we're going to tap the block onto our shins. Good. Inhale, rise. Exhale, shin tap. Inhale, rise. Exhale, shin tap. 10 times. After you've done it your 10 times, you can bring your block, inhale, rise all the way into a straight spine onto the mat. Point your toes to the front of the mat. Bring your arms to the top of the mat, long body stretch. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Bend both knees. Square through the hips. Drop the knees to the left side. Right arm to cactus or T here. You square through the hips. Left arm to the T, knees rise. And we're going to send them over to the right side. Find ourselves back to the center. Stretch your toes to the front of the mat. Take a long body breath here again. Arms to the top of the mat, toes to the bottom. Take it a deep inhale in through the nose. Out the mouth. You allow yourself to get comfortable in your Shavasana. As you start to get nice and snug into your corpse pose here. You can take as long as you would like before you start venturing on with your day. So thank you very much for attending the 7 a.m. of fun that we got going on in our Adventure Rock Yoga program today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And namaste.